In January 2024, LiDAR-equipped aircraft mapped 200 square miles of Amazon rainforest in Bolivia. AI analysis revealed something impossible. Beneath the jungle canopy, hidden for 600 years, was a network of structures spanning an area the size of Manhattan. Not primitive villages, not scattered settlements. A planned megacity with roads, canals, pyramids, and agriculture that housed an estimated 100,000 people. The civilization that built it vanished completely, and the AI found evidence that this wasn't just one city. It was everywhere. The discovery shattered everything archaeologists believed about pre-Columbian Amazon. For decades, the consensus was clear. The Amazon was pristine wilderness before European contact, too hostile for large civilizations. The soil was too poor, the jungle too dense. Human populations were small, scattered, primitive. That's what every textbook said. The AI just proved that every textbook was wrong. But here's what makes this discovery truly terrifying. The structures weren't built by people who barely survived in the jungle. They were built by an advanced civilization that terraformed the Amazon itself, creating artificial landscapes that supported massive populations. And then something happened. Something catastrophic enough to erase an entire civilization so thoroughly that for 600 years, nobody knew they existed. The megastructure is still there. The people who built it are gone. And the AI is finding more of these lost cities every single day. This is what the AI discovered beneath the Amazon, why it changes everything we thought we knew about human civilization, and why the implications of finding massive cities hidden under jungle canopy are far more disturbing than anyone wants to admit. The LiDAR scan covered the Llanos de Mojos region in Bolivia, a floodplain area that's completely covered by rainforest today. LiDAR technology shoots billions of laser pulses from aircraft. The lasers penetrate jungle canopy and bounce back, creating 3D maps of the ground surface. AI algorithms analyze these maps to identify human-made structures versus natural terrain features. What the AI identified was breathtaking in scale. Over 26 individual sites connected by a network of raised causeways spanning more than 600 miles. Rectangular and circular platforms up to 70 feet tall. Cone-shaped pyramids up to 90 feet high. Reservoirs, canals. Agricultural fields arranged in geometric patterns. Urban centers with densely packed structures suggesting populations in the tens of thousands per site. The radiocarbon dating puts the peak occupation between 500 and 1400 AD. That's not ancient history. That's medieval period. While Europe was building castles and cathedrals, the Amazon was building earthwork cities on a scale that rivals anything the Romans constructed. And nobody in the modern world had any idea it existed until AI scanned the jungle and revealed what was hiding underneath. But here's what makes the AI's role critical. Human archaeologists had surveyed this region before. They found nothing. The jungle is too dense. Ground surveys can't see patterns. Traditional aerial photography just shows trees. The structures are massive, but they're completely invisible without LiDAR cutting through the canopy. The AI didn't discover these cities because humans weren't looking. It discovered them because humans physically couldn't see them without machine assistance. The lead researcher, Heiko Prumers, from the German Archaeological Institute, said the discovery represents a complete paradigm shift. His exact words were that it forces us to reconsider the possibility that there were many more complex societies in the Amazon than previously thought. That's academic language, for we had no idea what we were looking at, and now we're realizing the Amazon was filled with advanced civilizations. Maybe 1 million people total across the entire Amazon basin, small tribes, hunter-gatherers, slash-and-burn agriculture supporting scattered villages. The environment was too challenging for anything larger. That was the model. The structures the AI found challenge every assumption in that model. One site alone, Katoka, has earthwork platforms covering over 500 hectares. That's larger than many medieval European cities. Centralized authority and specialized labor forces. You don't build 70-foot-tall platforms without engineering knowledge. Organizational capacity and surplus food production. The network of causeways connecting sites suggests regional integration. These weren't isolated villages. They were interconnected cities forming a political and economic system. The causeways are elevated roads designed to remain passable during seasonal flooding. Some stretch for dozens of miles. This is infrastructure. This is civilization-level construction. Agricultural evidence is what really breaks the model. The geometric field patterns visible in LiDAR data show intensive cultivation. Creating raised agricultural platforms, building canal systems for irrigation, modifying the landscape to support populations in the hundreds of thousands. The Amazon we see today as pristine rainforest is actually regrowth. It's covering what used to be extensively managed agricultural land. The AI analysis estimates that at peak occupation, the Llanos de Mojos region alone could have supported 100,000 to 400,000 people, not across the entire Amazon, just this one region of Bolivia. Scale that across similar findings in Ecuador, Colombia, and Brazil, and the total pre-Columbian Amazon population could have been 10 to 20 million people. That's not slightly more than expected. That's 10 to 20 times more than previous estimates. Here's the part that should terrify anyone thinking about long-term civilization survival. This wasn't a small society that faded away gradually. Sophisticated, regionally integrated civilization with cities, infrastructure, and agriculture. And it vanished so completely that 600 years later, nobody had any evidence it existed. How does that happen? The timeline gives us the answer. Peak occupation was 1200 to 1400 AD. Spanish conquistadors were arriving in South America. These cities were abandoned, and the jungle was already reclaiming them. The gap between peak civilization and total collapse is maybe 150 years. That's nothing. That's 3 generations watching their entire world disintegrate. The mechanism was disease. When Europeans arrived, they brought smallpox, measles, typhus, and influenza. Indigenous populations had zero immunity. Mortality rates were 90 to 95% in some regions. Imagine a city of 100,000 people. Within a decade, 95,000 are dead. The survivors can't maintain the infrastructure. The agricultural systems collapse. The canals fill in. The buildings decay. The jungle, which was being actively managed and controlled, immediately begins reclaiming cleared land. But here's the catastrophic cascade. These civilizations depended on intensive agriculture and complex infrastructure. Knowledge collapsed with it. The survivors didn't know how to maintain the canal systems or replicate the agricultural techniques. The written records, if they existed, were lost. The descendants of the people who built these cities had no memory of them. The jungle consumed everything, and the cities that took centuries to build disappeared in decades. The Spanish chronicles from the 1500s mention large indigenous populations in the Amazon. By the 1600s, subsequent explorers found only small tribes and dense jungle. They assumed the earlier explorers had been exaggerating. They weren't. They had seen the tail end of civilizations that were collapsing in real time from disease epidemics. By the time serious exploration of the Amazon occurred in the 1700s and 1800s, all evidence of these civilizations was hidden under jungle canopy. This is why the AI discovery is terrifying. Advanced civilizations can disappear so thoroughly that within a few hundred years, there's no surface evidence they ever existed. Everything people built, all the knowledge they accumulated, all the infrastructure they created, completely erased. The only reason we know about it now is because AI analyzed laser scans that can see through trees. The Bolivia discovery is just the beginning. Similar LiDAR surveys are revealing structures across the Amazon. In 2018, AI analysis of LiDAR data in Ecuador found earthwork structures covering 1,000 square miles. In 2022, scans in Brazil identified over 450 earthwork sites in Acre State. In 2023, analysis in Colombia revealed urban centers connected by road networks spanning hundreds of miles. Every time they scan a new area, they find more cities. The pattern is consistent. Large earthwork platforms, planned settlements, agricultural modifications, complex infrastructure, and always the same question. How did we not know this was here? But here's what researchers are realizing. The parts of the Amazon that have been scanned with LiDAR represent less than 1% of the total rainforest. 1% has revealed dozens of major sites and hundreds of smaller settlements. If that pattern holds across the remaining 99%, there could be thousands of these hidden cities. The Amazon might have been one of the most densely populated regions in the pre-Columbian world. And we had no idea because we couldn't see through the trees. The AI algorithms are getting better. Early LiDAR analysis required human archaeologists to manually identify features. Modern machine learning can automatically detect earthworks, differentiate human-made structures from natural formations, and map entire urban layouts without human input. The AI is faster and more accurate than human analysis. It's finding things humans miss. This creates an exponential discovery curve. As AI improves and more LiDAR data is collected, the rate of discovery accelerates. We're finding lost civilizations faster than archaeologists can excavate and study them. The backlog of unexamined sites is growing. There are places the AI has identified as probable urban centers that no human has physically visited, yet because there are too many sites and not enough researchers. One of the most significant discoveries related to these civilizations is terra preta, Amazonian dark earth. It's a type of soil found throughout the Amazon that's incredibly fertile, unlike the poor soil that naturally occurs in rainforests. Scientists thought terra preta was a natural phenomenon. Recent analysis proves it's human-made. Terra preta contains charcoal, pottery fragments, and organic matter mixed into the soil using techniques that indigenous people developed. The soil is so fertile, it's still being actively mined and sold as agricultural amendment in modern Brazil. Some terra preta deposits are 6 feet deep. Creating that much modified soil across thousands of square miles requires massive, sustained effort by large populations over centuries. Here's why this matters. They engineered it. They created soil that could support intensive agriculture in an environment where natural soil couldn't. They transformed huge swaths of the Amazon into managed landscape. The rainforest we think of as pristine nature is actually regrowth on top of what used to be agricultural land. The AI mapping is revealing the extent of terra preta deposits. They correlate precisely with the locations of the megastructures. Where there are cities, there's engineered soil. The civilizations that built these cities also built the environment that sustained them. They terraformed the Amazon. But here's the terrifying implication. If the Amazon is regrown landscape rather than primary forest, and if it's been regrowing for only 500 years, that means the Amazon is younger than we thought. Some scientists are now questioning whether the Amazon rainforest is even a stable ecosystem or whether it's a transitional state following the collapse of human management. The forests we're trying to preserve might themselves be the result of civilizational collapse. The Amazon megastructure discovery is being discussed in archaeological terms: lost cities, ancient civilizations, historical revision. But the implications go far beyond archaeology. This is a case study in civilizational fragility and how quickly advanced societies can vanish. Consider what it took to make these cities invisible. Population collapse from disease killed 90% of the people. Second, the surviving population couldn't maintain the infrastructure without sufficient labor and knowledge. Third, the jungle reclaimed cleared land within decades once active management stopped. Fourth, generational knowledge loss meant descendants had no memory of what their ancestors built. Fifth, no written records survived to preserve the history. 5 layers of failure. And they happened in sequence fast enough that within 150 years, the cities that had existed for 800 years were completely forgotten. The civilization didn't decline gradually over centuries. It collapsed suddenly and catastrophically. Modern civilization assumes it's too complex to disappear like this. We have written records, global communication, redundant systems. But the Amazon civilizations probably thought they were too established to vanish as well. They had been building and expanding for 800 years. They had created an entire managed landscape. None of that protected them when the cascade started. The difference today is we can see the collapse pattern now. We know that civilizations can be erased completely. We know that infrastructure requires constant maintenance. We know that knowledge can be lost in generations. We know that natural environments can reclaim human-modified landscapes extremely quickly. The Amazon megastructures are proof of concept for how thoroughly advanced societies can disappear. Here's what makes the megastructure discovery particularly significant for our current moment. The cities were always there. They've been sitting under jungle canopy for 600 years. Humans surveyed the area multiple times and found nothing. The structures are massive and obvious once you can see them. But humans couldn't see them. The AI could. LiDAR provides the data. AI provides the pattern recognition. Without both, the cities remain invisible. This is the first time in history we have the tools to see through concealment that totally defeated previous observation methods. And the AI is revealing that enormous amounts of human history are hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right technology to make them visible. What else can't we see without machine assistance? The Amazon hid thousands of square miles of urban development under trees. What's hiding under deserts, under ice, under ocean, or under assumptions we haven't questioned? How much of human history is invisible to us right now? Because we don't have the tools to reveal it. The AI isn't just finding lost cities. It's demonstrating the limits of human perception and the gaps in human knowledge. We thought we understood the Amazon. We thought we knew the extent of pre-Columbian civilization. We were completely wrong because we were looking with human eyes and making human assumptions. The machines see differently. Every new LiDAR survey of the Amazon finds more structures. The pattern is clear. These megacities weren't isolated. They were everywhere. And we're just beginning to map them. With improving AI and more extensive LiDAR coverage, we'll probably have identified thousands of sites. In 10 years, we might have a complete map of pre-Columbian Amazon urbanization. That's exciting for archaeology. It's a complete rewrite of South American history. But it's also unsettling for what it implies about civilizational memory. Hundreds of thousands of people built these cities. Millions of people lived in this landscape over 800 years. They developed technologies, created cultures, built infrastructure, and modified the environment on a massive scale. And then they vanished so completely that for 600 years, nobody knew they existed. The AI is pulling them back from oblivion, but only barely. If we hadn't developed LiDAR technology, these cities would remain hidden indefinitely. They're not buried deep underground. They're right there on the surface, covered by plants. That's how easily history disappears. The terrifying lesson isn't that we found lost cities. It's that civilization can be forgotten. That entire societies, no matter how large or advanced, can collapse and vanish from memory. That the physical evidence of massive human achievement can become completely invisible in a few generations. That what we think of as permanent is actually fragile. The megastructure beneath the Amazon isn't just an archaeological discovery. It's a warning. Advanced civilizations fall. Infrastructure decays. Knowledge is lost. And the jungle, or the desert, or the ocean, or time itself, buries everything. The AI showed us what's hiding under the trees, but it also showed us how easily everything humans build can disappear, and how little we actually know about what's already been lost.